Are you constantly battling negative thoughts, fearing that they'll come to life and create your worst nightmare? If you're stuck in this cycle of worry, wondering if your thoughts are secretly sabotaging your future, you're not alone. In today's episode of Ask Cindy, we'll unpack why negative thoughts make you anxious, why fighting them makes things worse, and how you can break free from the cycle to move forward in peace and power. Stay tuned for a game changing perspective that will help you stop feeling like a prisoner to your own mind. Hey, beautiful souls, welcome to Ask Cindy. Today, we're diving into something that I know many of you struggle with the anxiety that comes from thinking your negative thoughts will create your reality. A viewer reached out saying they've been fighting negative thoughts for months, feeling overwhelmed by the fear that those thoughts might come to pass. This fear of thinking the wrong thing is creating anxiety and preventing them from moving forward. So, if you're feeling trapped by your own mind, let's break it down and find a solution together. When you're constantly told that whatever you think will come to pass, it creates a huge pressure to be constantly positive, doesn't it? Here's the problem with that. When we fear our thoughts, we inadvertently give them power over us. The more we try to fight them, the more they seem to resist. The truth is, this fear can actually amplify negative thoughts, and the anxiety that comes from it only makes it worse. It's like a catch 22. Well, why does this happen? Why do our negative thoughts trigger anxiety in the first place? It's because of something called the law of attraction and how it interacts with our subconscious mind. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between positive or negative, it just picks up on what we focus on the most. Whether that focus is positive or negative is irrelevant. So, when we obsess over the idea that our negative thoughts will manifest, we end up manifesting more anxiety and stress, which ironically makes those fears feel more real. I'll be honest with you, it's a recipe for disaster. Because the focus on that. So, what's happening in your body is your body is trying to warn you. It's using its emotional intelligence to let you know that your thoughts are going in the wrong direction. So, your heart's really smart and it has a way of making you feel anxious or fearful to let you know that this is the wrong direction, like you're going away from your desired results. So, it's really smart in its sense of I'm letting you know this is not a good idea. Well, a lot of times we don't understand it, so then we get more worried and more anxious over um, what it's trying to do to help us. And rather than letting it help us, it becomes a hindrance. So you see the catch here. So the paradox of fighting negative thoughts. I want you to pause and really let this sink in. The more we fight our negative thoughts, the stronger they get. It's like a tug of war where you're putting all your energy into resisting them. In fact, the energy you're using to resist your thoughts is actually feeding them. It's really feeding them. I remember there's a quote where Mother Teresa was asked once if she wanted to go to an anti-war rally, and she said, "No, I'd never go to that." And everybody's like, "But why?" And she actually understood the principle because if you asked her, "Do you want to go to a peace rally?" She would say, "Yes, 100%." So she understood that in trying to fight the war, she was actually feeding the war. Very intelligent here. So, this is why the thought, I don't want to think this, often makes the thought even more intense. The more we resist, the more we give it our attention, and the attention fuels the energy. So, what's the solution? How do you stop feeling controlled by your negative thoughts, and how do you start feeling peace again? Well, let me give you some practical steps to help with this anxiety. I do it often for my clients, so figured why not make this an episode? First things first, acceptance over resistance. First and foremost, you have to understand that the thoughts are just thoughts. They don't define you and they don't control your destiny. Instead of fighting them, allow them to simply be. This might sound counterintuitive, but the key is to stop fearing them. When you don't give your thoughts your fear and resistance, they begin to lose their grip. So practice acceptance. When a negative thought arises, acknowledge it without judgment. Say to yourself, okay, that's just a thought, but it doesn't define my reality. Step 2, reframe your perspective on manifestation. Here's where things get interesting. The fear of whatever you think will come to pass can be overwhelming. But here's the truth, it's not your every single thought that manifests your reality, but rather your dominant thoughts and feelings. This is where you take back your power. Focus on the thoughts that make you feel good, the ones that excite you and inspire you to take action. The key to manifestation is alignment, not perfection. You don't need to be positive 24/7 to create your desired reality. What you focus on the most consistently with feeling is what will start you will start to see materialize in your life. All right. Step 3, mindfulness and detachment. Mindfulness is a game changer. Start practicing being an observer of your thoughts. I often recommend this to folks, and I really explain that it sounds simpler than it is, but the reason for it, it's such a powerful tool, is a tool I call self inquiry, in which you simply sit and watch your thoughts. You relax, you get in a very relaxed state, and you ask yourself just once, who am I? Like, who am I really? And then you just sit in silence and you just watch whatever your mind says. Whatever it says, you don't worry about it. A lot of what it says isn't true because although it's true in a relative sense, but it's partially true because who you truly are is none of these things. And so what you're doing is practicing letting thoughts be, and this is a muscle you can develop. It's so important to your life. Because when you have this muscle, when these thoughts come up, you're not hooked by them. You see? So you want to identify with the thoughts and see them passing by like clouds in the sky. They come and they go, but they don't stick around unless you invite them to. The more you detach from your thoughts, the less power they have over you. The goal isn't to eliminate negative thoughts, but to stop identifying with them as truth. In other words, just because you have a thought does not mean it is fact. All right. 4, redirect your focus. Now, this is where you can shift the narrative. Every time a negative thought enters your mind, actively redirect your focus. Instead of spiraling into worry, shift your attention to what you want, not to what you fear. Visualize the outcome you desire and immerse yourself in that vision. Feel as though it is happening now. Your mind can't focus on two things at once, so when you consciously choose to focus on the positive, the negative thoughts naturally lose their power. Here's a bonus tip, the power of self compassion. Remember, you're human. Negative thoughts do not make you a failure or a bad person. They're just part of the experience. The more compassionate you are with yourself, the less pressure you'll put on yourself to be perfect. Please give yourself grace as you work through this process. You're not alone in this journey, and no matter what your mind tries to tell you, you are worthy of peace. So, to wrap it up, the fear of negative thoughts is only keeping you trapped. When you stop fighting them and instead choose to accept and detach and redirect your focus, you empower yourself to move forward with intention. Remember, it's not about controlling your thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them. You can break free from the cycle of anxiety and start moving towards your dreams with confidence. Your thoughts do not have to dictate your future. You are the creator of your reality, and you have the power to shape it regardless of the thoughts that come and go. If this resonated with you, I want to invite you to explore more tools and techniques for mastering your mind and manifesting your desires. Feel free to check out my coaching services on my website at bridgetoselfmastery.com and or always feel free to check out my guided breathwork series on my channel. Linked in the description below for more on the journey. And remember, you've got this, one thought at a time. Thanks for tuning in to Ask Cindy. Don't forget to comment and subscribe for more life-changing advice. Until next time, remember you're in charge of your mind, and your thoughts don't control you. Take care.